Hey everyone, welcome back to my podcast. I like it raw. My name is Mikala Leinani, and it is amazing to be back. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed my first episode back where I was talking about the divine feminine and getting more in tune with the divine feminine and what the process of getting into the divine feminine looks like for me, some of my experience. But like I said in that episode, I am in a transition period, growing, learning different things about myself and about others. And there's something that's really been standing out to me. Um, a lesson that's been standing out to me, quite honestly. And I'm pretty sure many people encounter this in their lives, but really don't comprehend what's going on when these things occur. And it's the fact that you can tend to learn the same lesson over and over again, or if you learned it, it actually wouldn't happen, but you could tend to see or encounter the same lesson over and over and over again with different people. So, in some ways, it's the same demon in different bodies. And I hate to put it in that light, but it's basically the best explanation I can give you guys because it's a breakdown of you experience the same issues with different people. And sometimes when you experience these type of issues with different people, you may be the common denominator of those issues, so you have to assess that first. But if that's not what the issue is, if you are not the problem, you have to assess why the same issues come about with different people, what lesson you're supposed to be learning from these things or from these people, and why you haven't learned it yet. Um, so honestly, I'm just going to really dive into it. I got some notes here because this is an amazing topic to touch on because there's a lot of people that don't really grasp the concept of letting go and learning that lesson without it having to reoccur multiple times. That's kind of what happens in this human experience. You end up having to encounter the same type of problem in different bodies. So, I've noticed this with my sperm donor, I've noticed it with my ex, I've noticed it with people that I currently deal with, and it's kind of been like, damn, what is it that I'm missing? Like, what the fuck? And sometimes it will have you feeling like crazy, but it's really not all as crazy as it seems. So, um, I've learned and I've noticed in my situation with my sperm donor first is that it's a need for control. And I've seen that throughout my life, excuse me, when it comes to male figures and when it comes to men in general. And I've seen that with my sperm donor, I've seen it with my ex, I've seen it with men that I've dealt with. To this day, it's a need for control or a need to be right. And as a woman, or back then a girl, a longing for that security with those people, those men. So me allowing things to transpire over and over again with one person, it just really had me thinking about the fact that I did not stand strong on my boundaries. As a child, in my adolescence, standing firm on boundaries in some way would be kind of considered disrespectful, and that's never what I wanted it to come off to be. So I never stood on those things, nor did I really know how to, nor I just didn't even know what they were. Like, I knew I was hurt, I knew I was tired of being hurt, but I didn't know how to address and assess the situation properly. So I would allow those things to happen over and over and over again. Like with the sperm donor, it would just be a constant, I forgive you, I'm gonna try this again type of thing because of the position I put him in. And that's a position he should have never had, although he was the sperm donor. So, and when I say sperm donor, yes, I do mean the father, the person that helped create me. But it takes something to be a dad and a father. But yeah, so I was stood up multiple times. I was told I was overly sensitive. I was hung up on. There's a lot of things that happened and transpired within my life growing up with him. And at the end of the day, I just let it all go. I forgave him, and it is what it is. I just have no concern or wanting to even deal with that, because having gave the opportunity multiple times to see that nothing has changed even till this day, I just know now that I'm older, I'm going to stand firm on my boundaries. Now, when I go into the situation with my ex, I definitely just allowed so much stuff to slide because I thought that's what love was. And again, when you learn these things in childhood, you kind of bring them into your young adulthood and your adulthood. And so I wouldn't really speak on much that I saw because I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want him to be mad at me. I just didn't want to be abandoned again. And when I allowed these things to slide, it was just like, okay, here's another thing. I'm really not saying what bothers me and what doesn't. I'm not standing firm and being true to myself. I'm not standing on these boundaries. And to now in the situation that I've been in now, I stand firm on my boundaries, and I don't try to sway from them, but I've noticed myself sometimes swaying from them to make somebody else comfortable. And that's also another thing that I've been assessing within myself along my spiritual journey, as well as just this journey into adult and womanhood, as well as motherhood. Like, I try to do things to make people comfortable, and that allows people to get away with things. So I'm more so standing firm on my boundaries now. But what I've been noticing is that over this period of time, over my experience in this realm thus far, the time has been winding down in each situation. So my first situation, it took me 21 years to figure that shit out. And it is what it is. I feel like that one is kind of prone to be the longest, because when you're talking about your sperm donor, we as women, as men, dealing with our parents, in a sense, you deal with them for a long fucking time. You deal with the pain that they caused from them not being there, or from them being there and not treating you properly. You deal with that for a long time, and that's where trauma starts. It starts in childhood. It starts with your parents. It starts with your family for the most part. So dealt with that for 21 years of my life. In the next situation with my ex, I dealt with that for 7 years of my life, not wanting to let that go and feel the abandonment and feeling like I failed again in some sense. So it was hard to, kind of just move on. And once I got to that point, I just said, fuck it, because ain't no way, my baby. This can't be real. This shit ain't real. But now in this situation, I've been dealing with it, and I've been learning more about myself, and it's been about a good 2 to 3 years, but I've been learning, and I feel like this situation is probably the most insightful because I am learning more so to stand firm on my boundaries and not let shit transpire as much as it did before. But at the same time, I'm still in a situation where I feel like things can always be better. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's saying anybody is at fault for any of these things, because at the end of the day, you're in a situation that means you're partaking, and it means it's a choice. But at the same time, I'm just learning and grasping, understanding that this is happening and I have a choice to be in it or to not be in it. And if I continue to see the same patterns that I've seen before in previous situations, although I do come at things with a new mindset, and I do give new people new opportunities, it may not even be them being the same as the people in the past, but they have similar traits, similar ways of doing things, and those similar things teach you those lessons that you were supposed to learn previously with different people. But honestly, now I've been learning that as I grow and just being a being in this realm in general, we typically, as humans, would be collectors of red flags, right? We don't need to collect red flags. If they give you one, be done. That's it. Look, that's a beautiful. If they give you one, be done. And that's just truth to be told, because there's no reason that I collected all these red flags from all these previous people in these situations and still dealt with them as long as I did. But at the end of the day, there's a reason, because I did learn something very valuable. But I'm truly learning now to not be a collector of red flags and to get the fuck on when it's time to getting the fuck on. You feel me? And I'm very accepting of these being karmic relationships and karmic situations in my life, because they are meant to teach me something. And I'm not running from the lesson. I'm not running from the person that I'm supposed to become. I'm not blaming myself or blaming anyone else for these things, but I am going to address situations. I'm going to address issues, and I'm going to be honest with myself and with others on things that have happened and that need to be rectified on both sides. So I'm just really continuing to grow and learn these things, and especially in this transitioning period, it's very, very, very imperative to make sure this is done, because when you bring a child into this world, you can't pass on those bad ways of being, or there's a better way I want to say it, but you can't continue to pass on the toxic traits of getting through toxicity when there's a definite healthy way to do these things. So I want to be better for myself and be able to teach my child the right way, not the white way. Excuse me, y'all. Tongue tied. I want to teach my child the right way to go about handling those red flags that they see, those boundaries that are being overstepped. I want them to know that they don't have to take that. And as children, it's really sad to say, but children are conditioned to accept the bullshit at an early age. I've seen multiple examples of little girls don't want to hug their boy cousin or uncle or something, but they're forced to do so. Or the little boys are forced to go sit and let the auntie kiss on their face or something. And I'm going to let y'all know now. Children and old people are closest to spirit. Children are so pure, but they are doused with impurities from the adults that's living here. I mean, you drown them in in the fucking what you think life is. But that might be what life is for you, but it's not what life is for them. And so it's sad because they come in not even getting an opportunity to honestly experience and really form their own opinion on things. So that's something I want to give my child. I want to give my child the opportunity to form their own opinion and to set their own boundaries. And if they don't feel comfortable doing something, they don't have to do that something, and they're not going to be forced. Because, like I said, it starts in childhood. That trauma starts in childhood. Those allowing people to overstep those boundaries start in childhood. So we have to address that in childhood when they are coming to the knowledge of actually being able to speak, you know. So, like I said, now that I have grown, I have truly learned so many beautiful lessons throughout this, like, this 26, about to be 27 years of experience, and it's very enlightening. And I've also just learned to be myself within any situation, especially at the age that I am. I'm not obligated to anyone to say, do, tell. I'm not obligated to anyone to do anything, say anything, tell anything, be anything for anybody else. I'm not. I'm obligated to myself. And that's another thing I've learned, is that throughout these situations with these people, I talked about that sense of control. But they have this feeling of obligation. You gotta tell me, you gotta do. No, bro. You've got me fucked up. You've got me real fucked up. It doesn't matter the role that you play in my life. You are not obligated to anything from me. And that is what it is. And that's a concept that others truly have to understand and accept, because the reality of it is they don't fucking accept the shit. So it is what it is, but it is not my problem. So honestly, that's really all I have for this episode, y'all. This is just me really being transparent and being grateful for these situations. I'm so grateful for the lessons. I'm so grateful for the growth. I'm just so grateful for the intolerance I've built for the bullshit, because people will try to make you deal and accept that bullshit, and it's up to you if you will. Like, you can't continue to accept bullshit because you feel bad, or because they're family, or because you think time gives something status. Time means nothing. Time isn't even fucking real. And I talk about this so often. Time is not real. So don't waste your time being stuck in a situation that makes you feel bad, knowing that it's not good for you, knowing that it causes you stress. At the end of the day, you can feel bad for that person that you're dealing with. You can feel bad for whoever the fuck it is. But you gotta feel the worst for yourself for allowing yourself to continue to endure some shit that does not make you feel good. And that's really all it is. You gotta care about your feelings first. If it doesn't feel good to you, it's not good for you. Like that, honestly, it is what it is. It's broken down so simple. If it doesn't feel good to you, it's not good for you. If there's more thoughts about the stress and how am I going to deal with this, if you really have to feel and think like that, I'm telling you, it's not it. And I've learned that in many situations, and I accept it, and I'm okay with it. I grow from it, and that's all I really care about, is my growth, my evolution, and the growth and evolution of my child. And that's the beauty in this human experience. And coming to knowing my spirit and knowing who I truly am, that I don't accept or tolerate the bullshit. So, yeah. But that is all. Please let me know how you guys feel about this topic. Leave your comments below if you are watching me on YouTube. You can now watch on Spotify, so hoo-wee. But I'm not sure if you could comment. But if you're watching on Spotify, just make sure you share this episode around and, make this a conversation make this a conversation with some of your family, some of your friends, and really pick each other's brains on this, because if you are real with yourself and feel comfortable to be real with other people in that deep of a sense, then there's so much that you can truly learn from each other. And honestly, I'm going to say this now, if you guys do converse about this amongst each other, be gentle and ask if that person wants you to give your opinion on their situation, because some people don't want the fucking opinion. Some people just want to vent, and some people just want to tell you their experience. So allow that to happen, but definitely make this a conversation amongst each other, because this can have you really diving deep and helping you grow and ascend to new heights. So yeah. But thank y'all so much for watching and listening. Make sure y'all subscribe, share, just support me by a like or whatever you can do that just shows the podcast around. But anywho, I will be seeing y'all in my next episode.